What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Cornelia, back with another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. In social media, pop culture, Black culture, the word troll has become a thing. Back in the day, we used to say troll. Y'all, we used to talk about treasure trolls. The ones with the hair. You know what I'm talking about? The bad built little creatures that we used to collect that had the jewel for the belly button, or whether it was on their forehead or the belly button. I don't remember, but they had the Don King colored hair. Treasure trolls. When we used to say trolls as an elder millennial or and even Gen X, you hear troll, you think treasure troll, pot belly. Okay, in need of the Ozempic. Maybe no shame. Listen, I ain't any shame to Ozempic because I've still got the pandemic weight on me. I'm 2 seconds away from the Ozempic myself. Hand me the medication. I understand. I might think I'm end up with lipo. I ain't even. Hey, it is what it is. But Kendrick Lamar has taken the word troll and elevated to a level that I don't think we've seen. I don't think we've seen. And I'm happy that we're seeing it because it's entertaining. Now, Kendrick Lamar announced, along with Rock Nation, Apple Music, and the National Football League, that he will be headlining the 2025 Super Bowl halftime performance. That man gonna get on stage and do Not Like Us in front of like 40 million people. Y'all know it'd be like 40 million people watching the Super Bowl halftime show. He literally gonna get on there and say, I hear you like 'em young. You better never go to cell block 1. I can't believe y'all. This is peak level trolling. I don't think we've seen anything like this. And now I'm not saying that he doing Super Bowl purposely to troll another rapper. I'm not saying that. That is probably not the case, but that is literally what's going to happen, whether it's directly or indirectly. I will say too, I think that other rapper, I think his legal team probably gonna they're gonna have to do something. And they're gonna try to get him to stop doing that, not do that song, because there's literally lyrics that accuses him of being a bad boy. So I don't, hey. Now, back up. They announced this, and outside of that, people are pretty split on this. And the reason why people are split on Kendrick Lamar headlining is because it's in New Orleans. And some people assumed that it would have been a New Orleans artist that was headlining the Super Bowl. So before I get into like what people saying, because people were assuming that, let me say the Dr. Dre Super Bowl performance was one of the only times where people from that city performed. And even with that, everybody on that lineup was not from Los Angeles. Dr. Dre was, Snoop Dogg was, Kendrick Lamar was. But Mary J. Blige, she from Yonkers. Okay. 50 Cent from Queens. Eminem from Detroit. So, but outside of that, when Weeknd performed, we were not in Toronto. When Madonna performed, we were not in, I believe Madonna from my Grand Rapids. She from Michigan too. When Missy performed, we were not in the 757. Shakira and J-Lo from the Bronx. Shakira is from Colombia. We were not overseas. Okay. We were not in South America. Okay. Or one of the 5 boroughs of New York. I can keep going on and on and on. They even mentioned Atlanta. They said no Atlanta rappers performed when it was in Atlanta. I don't actually remember who performed. Was it Rihanna? Was that Rihanna year? Rihanna, we didn't perform in Barbados. You know what I'm saying? You get the point. So the idea that you have to have a hometown artist is it's a little off base. Also considering that there was a Super Bowl in New Orleans before and Beyonce performed. She ain't from New Orleans. She's from Houston, Texas. But I see where people are having an issue with this because Lil Wayne is one of the greatest rappers alive. Some people have him at the very top. So to automatically assume it will be Lil Wayne, I understand where people are coming from. But historically, people are picked to do and perform at the Super Bowl halftime show when they are at the absolute peak of their career. They have some like an insane run, right? Look at Usher. Usher just came off a historic when it comes to R&B performances and concert. He had that run in Vegas. He had the tiny desk. It was all the cards lined up. With Rihanna, while she hadn't been on stage in so long, she has consistently kept herself in the public eye by now being a $1 billion brand. Dr. Dre and them, now, while they ain't had nothing going on, Dr. Dre has had a makeover with his public image. And let me add, Snoop Dogg is the most popular rapper in the world. I don't think I can debate anybody can debate this. Snoop Dogg is the most popular rapper in the world. So for him to perform at the Super Bowl and then in turn also be the ambassador for the Olympics, that made sense. So for Kendrick Lamar to be picked, it literally makes sense. He just at Big Steppers last year, the tour was the highest grossing rap tour of all time. He literally had the biggest song of the summer, and the rap beat turned into one of the biggest moments in hip hop. We had the Bloods and Crips uniting over a Gangchella down at the Forum. He had the pop out that would turn into Gangchella. So because he has been at the top of the conversation, it makes sense for him to be tapped to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show. Now, people also mad at Jay-Z. Ain't gonna be no disrespect to Jay-Z. But people are upset because they think that Jay-Z picks the person who is the halftime performer. Now, I was on social media and I was Googling things today to try to see if he has the sole, if he's the sole decision maker. Some people in some outlets were saying that there is a list provided to the NFL, to corporate sponsors, because this is supposed to be a family friendly event. This is a corporate sponsored event that they present names and they ultimately pick who the person is going to be. So that could have a say in it as well, because while Lil Wayne, again, is arguably one of the best rappers alive, when you talk about image and you talk about, being commercial, we talk about rappers, unless it was Drake in the height of his like true Drakedom, right now it's Kendrick Lamar. The man has a Pulitzer Prize. Like you don't, it's you're like, come on now. So I get and understand both sides. Personally, I think it's gonna be great. Kendrick Lamar is a fantastic showman. You could tell that brother show up to rehearsal. You can tell when people rehearse. It's one thing, a lot of rappers don't study the craft of performance, because historically rappers don't perform. They just walk back and forth and pace the stage. That's why I like, one of the reasons why I like Offset as a performer, and who he seems to want to become on stage, because he'll get some dancers, he'll learn some dance move choreography, he'll do all of the work to try to increase his stage presence. The same with Meg Thee Stallion. Megan be performing, and a lot of rappers don't do that. A lot of them still be rapping with the backing track. But one thing Kendrick Lamar gonna do, he gonna give you some theatrics. He gonna give you them live vocals. The brother got breath control. We saw him do a 2-hour show at the Forum. He had on jeans, some Nike G-Shocks, a hoodie, and regular glasses. Like, come on, man. You don't get no better than this. He also is the student of the school Beyonce. You know that. I believe they're real, actual friends. You can tell he studies people who performs. So, but I'm not gonna go down that path. The point is, I think it's gonna be a really good show, and I'm looking forward to it. I also think, because Kendrick Lamar is very vocal and has been vocal, even when we talk about the conversation within the rap beef, one of the main discussions that Kendrick Lamar brought up is this idea of a culture vulture and using other cities for clout and recognition. Kendrick Lamar does not strike me as the type of person that will have a Super Bowl halftime performance in New Orleans and would not incorporate some form of New Orleans culture, or rapper or music within that. Because low key, let me tell you something. People doing a lot of mad, they talking a lot and mad that Lil Wayne performing. But this whole conversation has overlooked the other rapper down there who has arguably one of the most recognizable songs in hip hop. Back that ass up. Juvenile, oh, Juvie the Great. If anybody may be getting a feature or a spot on that, I would not be surprised if we heard on that stage Cash Money taking over for the 99 and the 2000. I would not be surprised. I also read somewhere that Master P was named by the mayor of New Orleans the entertainment ambassador for the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean the ambassador for the halftime show, but there are entertainment activations and activities and things happening all around the Super Bowl and that whole event and spectacle. So we already have that. I would not be surprised. I'm not saying No Limit them gonna get up on there, but I wouldn't be upset if I heard some on the Super Bowl stage. I don't know what to expect, but I feel like it's too early for us to be discounting Kendrick Lamar and who he is within hip hop and his voice within hip hop and his advocacy. I think it's too early to know all of this about him and to assume that he would not try to find a way to bring that into the space. Now, whether that happens, how that happens, who shows up or not, is extremely early. I believe this is the earliest announcement that they've ever made. I don't know why. The promo, he was in front of American flag. There's a movement with black people taking back the flag that if y'all have noticed. Some people don't like it. I understand it. I understand it. And I am supportive of people who are doing that. Now, am I going to be walking around with some flag clothes on night? Hey, you probably ain't going to catch me doing all that. No. But I do appreciate the reclaiming of patriotism by Black Americans, because if we really get down to the nitty gritty, Black people are the true patriots, considering that we are one of the sole groups who have consistently fought for civil and equal rights for everyone in this country in every way. But I ain't gonna go. Hey, that's maybe too little too deep for right now. Okay, we ain't gonna. Hey, so what do y'all think? Do y'all think this will be an opportunity for some New Orleans artists to be featured, or some New Orleans culture? Do y'all think though that Kendrick Lamar is a good without? Personally, I think he can. We've seen him perform. We've seen his shows. Even if you haven't, you've seen clips online. Kendrick Lamar can hold it down on his own. He's already been in a Super Bowl halftime performance. If I'm not mistaken, hadn't he been featured in like one or two? Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. He's definitely was in the one with Dr. Dre, and it was a good old time. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for the boy, for the young brother. He gonna be training. He be doing them jailhouse workouts. He be doing the push-ups in parks with like regular clothes on. Them jail push-ups. He gonna be in peak tip top shape for the show. So I'm happy about it. What do you guys think? Are you excited? Are you not excited? Are you on the side where you are a little bit upset because a New Orleans artist wasn't tapped? Or do you feel just fine? Hit me up. Let me know your thoughts. You can find me at Cornelia on social media. So, quick election update. We are officially a month and some change out from the 2024 presidential election, as well as other elections in your particular state, city, county, and so on. Because while the presidential election is all the talk, other people on them ballots. And for people who don't want to hear about the presidential election and blah, 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 child, go in there and vote for them judges that be in your district deciding on who should and shouldn't go to jail and how long they need to serve them sentences. Okay. How about you go and vote for the head of them school boards because they banning them books and some of these kids can't read. Okay. How about that? How about y'all go in there and vote for y'all district attorney, y'all chief of police, y'all sheriff? How about y'all go and vote for them? Because it ain't just the president on the ballot, baby. It's a lot on the line all the time. I also found out I was at my family reunion. I was talking to one of my cousins, and if I don't know where a lot of people are, but in California, and again, I don't even know if it's the whole state. I know in LA County, ahead of the election, each election, whether it's one with two people on the ballot, months in advance, we start to get things in the mail that gear us up for the election. We start to get postcards telling us how to vote easily, telling us when our polling location is going to be open, when we can start early voting, where the drop boxes are. We get sample ballots so that we can fill our ballots out at home if we want to practice and do our own research. They send us a booklet with information on a majority of the candidates for all of the elections in our area with little statements, websites where we can find and do more research. We then get our mail-in ballots in addition to all of that. My cousin, she in Nashville or in right outside of Nashville, she said they don't be getting none of that. They don't even be getting information to say it's election day is on X, Y, and Z day. I didn't realize, I had no clue. And which is crazy because I've lived in many different states, but I've lived in California the longest. So it's more prevalent to me what happens here. But child, we get everything. So we be prepared. If you go into an election in LA County and you don't got no information, that is completely on you because we are armed with the tools. They even gave us the practice, the test run of the electronic ballot where you can fill your ballot out on your mobile phone, on your device, and just go into the polling station and scan all of your choices. It uploads into the system, stamps it on your little election card, and you in and out, baby. I was in there one time for 3 minutes. It took me longer to sign in than it did for me to scan my little ballot and be up in and out. I got my little sticker and I was on my way. So I say all that to say it's more at stake and you need to arm yourself with the tools and the information whether you are interested in the presidential election or not. But I'm bringing this all up because this week is the first and maybe the only presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and the man with the red hat. I honestly think this will be the only debate because it was like a pulling teeth to get this one even agreed upon. And we don't even know if one of the candidates going to show up. Let's be real. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to show up. But it will be on ABC. I haven't seen who the moderators are because that is a big factor in it because if you ain't got no backbone, you ain't no good moderator. The mics will not be hot. It will be no crowd. They will not be, I think they will be at podiums. I hope so, because we don't want another situation where they were standing and it was an open setting and the man with the red hat was stalking Hillary Clinton around the stage. We don't got time for no black woman to be getting stalked on stage. And let me say this. I don't have any expectations for this debate. I said before, I'm not a believer that at this point there are undecided voters. I think there are people who have not decided to vote at all, meaning first time voters, unregistered voters. I think those are the people who this debate could change things for, which really blows my mind. It be people, y'all, who be like old, who just hadn't voted. I just don't understand. We people was dying for these voting rights. I just don't. That blows my mind. People literally was dying back in the day for trying to vote or trying to get black people registered to vote. And I ain't just talking about the 1950s and the 60s. I'm talking about as soon as enslavement ended. Do y'all know the violence and the terror that was inflicted on black people, mainly in the South, for having the audacity to 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 try and vote? People was getting lynched, murdered because they showed up and tried to register to vote or tried to vote on election day. Like that's not a like people was literally people be saying that like they be thinking you talking about Martin Luther King and them. No, like people been dying for centuries over this. So when people be like, I never voted. What? You didn't even vote for Obama? Like when a black person tell me they didn't vote even and they old enough to have voted for Obama the first time. What? That was literally I lived in Harlem at the time and there was a senior center around the corner from me. And I'll never forget on election day, people were out there with their grandparents, their great grandparents, their great aunts and great uncles, and they were lined up. That was one of the voting locations, the polling locations. They were lined up in wheelchairs with their family members waiting in line in the cold to cast them votes. I ain't never seen nothing like that. It was so enlightening. It was reflective, it was enlightening, it was beautiful, and it was just so much perspective because you spend a lot of time in those lines waiting and you having these conversations, and those older people, them older black people literally were saying that, and we hear this all the time, but they were saying they couldn't wait to get in and cast that ballot. They never in their 90 some years of life would have thought that they would have had the opportunity to even cast that ballot. So when people are like, I ain't even vote for Obama, what? Like, where were you? I just don't get it. Anyway, I think this debate could turn the tide for people who have not registered, but I am not expecting no huge wave to go in either direction. Okay. People ain't undecided at this point. They just want attention. So I think what we should expect to see is the unexpected. I don't think there is a way to prepare for a debate with someone who is unhinged and is a narcissist and who has mastered the art of over talking and being disrespectful. It's like when you in a relationship with a man and he a narcissist and he a professional arguer and a gaslighter. You can't beat that. You cannot beat no gaslighter. You cannot beat a narcissist. The only way to beat a narcissist is to ignore them. That is literally the only way. Is to completely block them out, disregard anything they say, and don't pay them any attention. And unfortunately, in a debate setting, I don't know how you do that. But what people will be looking for, they're going to be looking to hold Vice President Kamala Harris to an exceedingly high standard, like we do Black women in this country all the time. That is what we should expect. And I hate that she got to sit up on her on that stage and had this debate with that man. I hate it. I also be having anxiety. I don't like conflict. So I'm going to watch, but it's going to be tearing me up because I do not like being uncomfortable. And just the thought of that just makes me completely uncomfortable. But I'm going to be tapped in. Are you all watching? Have you checked your voters registration? Because they've been scrubbing people off these voting ledgers in the Deep South. Have you checked? Have you done your part, or are you completely tapped in or completely tapped out? Who knows? I don't know where you stand. Let me know. You can hit me up. We can talk about it. You can find me at Canelia on social media. Child, that Beyonce liquor done came out, baby. That Beyonce liquor, the liquor, that liquor done came out. It is out. Sir Davis is out. I don't drink the brown liquor. So I have not tried it. Had some traumatic experiences growing up as a youth. Now I was doing a little. Hey man, I was doing a little drinking. Okay, can't do it. Can't drink the dark liquor no more. Bad experience. Traumatized. But I am tempted. I'm not going to buy a bottle because they said the price point of the bottle is in the high 80s, and I cannot spend 80 some dollars for something that I know for a fact that I'm not going to drink. I'm also trying to not drink in general. Now, if it's a special occasion, now when I go on vacation or if it's somebody's birthday, I might give me a little glass of the bubbly. Okay, I'm gonna give me a little glass of the champagne. I'm gonna go to brunch. I might give me one mimosa, maybe, but I'm even leaning away from drinking altogether. Vacation is a different story. But the other story is my stomach's starting to not be able to handle it at all. So I can't buy the bottle because I'm not gonna drink it. But I'm tempted to go to somebody's house that got the bottle and give me a little cocktail. I'm tempted to try to taste it. I got to smell it first because the brown liquor. I got to smell it in my stomach. But so far, so good. It has gotten rave reviews. Even before she announced that she had the liquor, she submitted it to festivals and to tastings without saying that it was her liquor because y'all know people be hating. And it got really good scores. And so far, all over social media and just talking to I talked to maybe two people who have tasted it. They said they really enjoyed it. They made some mixed drinks that she recommended on her site. They actually enjoyed those as well. So the hard liquor is officially launched. This is Sir Davis, and so far so good. Now, some people were feeling a little way because people I've learned people on the internet are really upset. The grouchiest, most unhappy people be on the internet and they complain about everything. Because people literally complaining that she dropped a cognac or whiskey. I'm sorry, whiskey, a dark liquor, but they still ain't got the visuals for the albums. Like y'all gives y'all enough. Beyonce is gonna do what she gonna do, and it all ties together. And if she want to drop a liquor brand, she can drop a liquor brand. It makes complete sense based on the tone of the album that she just came out. Beyonce has historically always been a whiskey, dark liquor drinker. If you are a fan of Beyonce, you know she like her some dark liquor. Her family from the South. Come to find out, she had a great grandfather or great grand uncle, somebody who was a moonshine man child. This y'all know some Beyonce got a relative that do everything. He made the liquor, so in honor of him, she making the liquor. It makes sense. It's a good business deal. It's a good business. Y'all know Jay-Z has been in the spirits business for many years. That's her dang husband. Of course she gonna explore getting into the spirits business. Y'all forgot about Armadale? Y'all knew we were drinking Armadale. Armadale wasn't even delicious. We was out here drinking Armadale because Jay-Z told us to. It wasn't tasty. Okay? It wasn't. But it had a good run. He had us drinking Cristal for a long time. He had us trying to drink Cristal. We couldn't even afford it. Then switched over to Ace of Spades. Had us drinking Ace of Spades. Y'all, Ace of Spades tastes like beer. It wasn't. It wasn't. I had some of it. I ain't like it. But we was drinking it. So, of course, Beyonce is going to explore getting into the spirits business. Makes sense. Do I think she should continue coming out with products? Absolutely. Get your money. People should not be limited to just singing and dancing for us. Yes, that is her gift and her talent. She has many gifts and talents, but also she is a business. And when you have the opportunity to set up your empire and to try different things, try it. I think we need to get into the mindset of just because we put something out and try it doesn't mean we can't try something else. Or if that's not as successful, we can't pivot and do something else. Hey, we've seen this with many different artists, especially Beyonce. House of Darion came and went. Ivy Park came and went. Sacred, I don't think Sacred gon' come and go. I've seen some good reviews. Them YouTubers say they be talking up Sacred. I'm about to order me a bottle because my hair been looking dusty. I might get me some Sacred. They put that thing in Sephora. It's a wrap. I'm getting it. But I actually like and appreciate Beyonce exploring other avenues of business. Look at Rihanna and Fenty. Rihanna is a billionaire because of what she did with Fenty. And that makeup line was genius for her. It made so much sense. And Savage Fenty. Just the perfect opportunities. But Let me know if y'all have tried the hard liquor, okay? Have y'all tried Sir Davis, the dark liquor? Let me know y'all thoughts about it. You know, homecoming coming up in a couple, and like maybe next month. I know somebody at homecoming gonna have some of the Sir Davis. I'm gonna give me a little taste. I got to say, I got to smell it first, because if it smell like dark liquor, I can't. I don't. Whew, I'm gonna see. Somebody gonna have it at homecoming. And if it's you listening, if you gonna have it at homecoming, let me what hotel y'all at. I'm gonna come for the pregame. Put it in a little Chick-fil-A cup, bring it on campus. Okay, just put it in a little cup. Get the Chick-fil-A cup, put it in there, and then I'ma pour some in my little tumbler, and then I'ma taste it. I know the Kappa's gonna have it at the Kappa, the tailgate. I know they be having the double-decker tailgate. I know Beta Chi, KA Psi gonna have Sir Davis at the Beta Chi tailgate. I know they will. I'm gonna try it at homecoming. Let me know if you already had some though. Hit me up. You can find me at Cornelia on social media. On this week's episode of Black News, we talked about Kendrick Lamar headlining the upcoming Super Bowl 2025 in New Orleans. We also talked about the upcoming presidential debate this week happening on ABC, and also talked about if any of us have tried Beyonce's new whiskey, Sir Davis. Hit me up. Let me know your thoughts about all these topics, some or none, and I'll check back with you guys next time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again for supporting the podcast by sharing, liking, subscribing, and rating 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. To find more information about me, you can check me out at Cornelia on social media, as well as on my website, which is cornelia.com. And as always, thanks for supporting, and I'll be back next week with new topics and a new episode.